Welcome back to the Cinebros Podcast. We have a very special tangent episode today. If you remember, a few episodes ago, we did an episode called, a multi-part episode actually, called Tales from the Set with an Indie Filmmaker. Well, today we're kind of doing a spiritual successor to that episode. This episode is going to be called Tales from the Set with an Actress. We do have our first female guest on the show today. Guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello. Hi, I'm Cassandra Hunt. I do a lot of acting and modeling around the area, and yeah, I have a blast doing it.
All right, now, would you call yourself an actress?
Well, more so, like now I do a whole lot more freelance modeling than I do acting right now, but definitely like without this pandemic, I could totally see myself doing a whole lot more acting than what I am doing now. So normally I think I would put myself a little bit more of an actress than a model.
Gotcha. And how many different films or stage productions have you been in?
Man, stage productions, I've been in a lot of those, but just a few of the like funny kind of cool ones that I've been in. This is starting at my theater at home in Ashland. I was in the best Christmas Carol ever, I think is what it was called. And then I was in Christmas Carol and 101 Dalmatians and just all these really fun little shows and stuff that they did there. And then from there, I went to different things in West Virginia. And so I did things like Paper Wasps, Before Daybreak, which is my most recent one. And then I also do some short films and editing with one of my friends. His name is Kiyamo Anogi, and on Instagram, his @ is Oxygen Garden. And he is just one of the most amazing people that you could work with around here.
All right, cool. And I do have Ray and Luke with me again today. Luke, you actually arranged this guest. So how did you find out about her?
Well, it's kind of funny. I was just on Facebook one day, and it's been several months back, and I was on my suggested friends, people you might know thing, and I saw her, and I was looking through, I requested to follow her, and she accepted, and I looked at her page, and I saw that she'd done like some acting and things like that, and I was like, that would be such an awesome thing and such like a cool insight into the world of acting and stuff to get onto the podcast. So I really was like, the second that I became friends with her on Facebook, I was like, that's really awesome. We need to get her on the show. And then I don't know why I waited so long to ask you to be on the show, Cassandra, but I'm glad you decided to come on the show. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, that's kind of how I found out about her and stuff. But this is our first time like officially meeting. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All right, and you mentioned a movie called Before Daybreak is your most recent movie, correct?
Yes.
And what is that movie about?
So basically, I'm one of the actresses in it. I never really produced any part of it. I actually don't associate well with a lot of the people that produced it for different reasons. But
that just makes a great working environment.
Yeah. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. It's crazy. The whole, like the scene, the movie, I mean, as a whole is basically about, this group of guys who are investigating a series of murders. And one of the guys who is investigating it is, more so less, I guess, like a sleazebag. And he kind of basically just, I'm trying not to give it away. He like goes and he knows a lot of these people, and a lot of them have to do with the thing that's taking on. And it's like a kind of a Shaft type movie, like the old 80s kind of investigator type series.
Okay, yeah, sure.
And Yeah, it's great. It's an amazing environment. But you definitely want to be careful with the people that you work with. Just wanting to make sure that the productions that you're putting yourself in are professional as well. And I like these. They give you a really good a reel for people to look over for when they want to audition you into something new that they're doing also as well. Because I do, like I said before, I do a lot of freelance stuff, and I do that with acting as well. Like people around the area that I live in that are a little like they do like filmmaking and photography and stuff. I love working with small town people like that around my area.
All right, now before we get into your relationship with any of these people, because this is a topic that interests me from hearing you just briefly give little hints about it, I do want to ask about how you got involved in this production. Did you know any other people involved in this production beforehand, or was this just like an audition type thing where you got cast?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's another thing that you want to do if you want to get like out there and stuff. Like a lot of the people, well, not a lot of them, some of the people that got me into this movie, I've known from the plays that I've like done all the way back in my hometown, which granted isn't that really far from, West Virginia. But yeah, a lot of the stuff that I did before kind of really helps now. And just the more relationships that you end up making, then those people can bring you into future projects and stuff like that. Like a lot of the people that I was with in this production, some of them I went to high school with, some of them I knew in high school, and that's kind of what brought me into this. But like me personally, I do love working with people that I know, but I also love finding new people that I don't know and working with them as like a brand new, like not sticking to one thing, if that makes any sense.
Sure. So were the people that were in this production mostly local people?
Yeah, definitely. They were all local, but they were amazing. One of the guys that was in the production I'm good friends with, his name is Sam Hodge. He did the camera work with it, and he's so amazing with it. He a whole movie, and I'm not sure what it was called now, but it was something zombie themed. And it was kind of like Day of the Living Dead type, but it was shot so amazingly. And he shot all of it on his iPhone, and he edited everything and stuff, and it looked amazing. And it won awards and stuff at festivals. He's really good with camera work. But there'd be times it's funny because, and this could be one of the other stories. He's funny and he's unpredictable. He's one of those people that'll just come up and he'll be working, and then he'll have like 4 beers down, and then he'll like stumble down the stairs, and you'll just have to help him with his equipment, and then he'd be fine the next day. And then that's like, it's just him.
So was this, you mentioned that he shot a movie before on an iPhone. On this production, was it mainly like actual like filmmaking equipment, like, actual cameras, actual like audio equipment, lighting, stuff like that? Or was it mainly like low budget, like a phone here, you maybe have like a small boom mic or something like that? Or was it mostly professional?
Oh, it was low budget. Yeah, it was low budget, but it looked so amazing. Like the lighting and stuff he did with it.
Gotcha.
So real quick, is there any way, because I know you said you didn't want to spoil it and stuff, but is there any way you can talk about your character in the movie and like kind of tell our listeners about her?
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, my character in the movie was so fun. This was the only time that I actually played a bad person, and I loved that for me because I don't know, it's something so, there's something so powerful about being so small and then given a role where you get to like be so cruel. It's so fun. But and it's really fun doing a lot of the scenes and, having to be mean and stuff. But my character, basically, she is she works for this pimp, and she's basically making him work for her, but he doesn't know that. And so she's basically kind of manipulating all of these men in this movie, which also I love. And she's just, without giving away the ending, she's just, it's just a badass character, man. I mean, it'd take like any slasher film / like House of a Thousand Corpses, the chick on that, I think kind of also like, I just took a lot of different people from movies and kind of incorporated it into this character.
That sounds like it'd be a ton of fun to play. For sure.
There was a lot of knife stuff that I got to do, and that was fun. The whole set was fun to be, and because it made me feel in character as well.
So is this your like favorite role that you've played before, or do you have another one that's your favorite?
Man, that's a good question. I've had so many. That was one of the roles that I was more on camera than anything. So I was more of the main character, which I love being the main character and stuff, but also being a side character or like an extra and stuff is so fun. Like I have so many fond memories of being at the Paramount and doing one of the productions was The Giver, and that was one of the most fun productions I've ever been in, because I was playing one of the man, this was so long ago. I'm trying to remember what they're called, but the people in the population who get lined up to basically do kind of a Hunger Games type situation. It was just a fun character to be, and it didn't have a name, but it was just a really fun time to be an extra and get to know all these people.
Sweet.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you may not have had the best relationship with some of the production staff. Do you want to get into that without burning?
I mean, I'm not gonna
burning future bridges.
Yeah, no. No, of course. No, I mean, I urge anyone who wants to do any type of acting and modeling and stuff in the area that they're going to be in and stuff, always, do the, get into small productions and stuff and get to know the people that you're working with. There's a lot of people that will manipulate you by giving you nice roles and stuff, and that's just something that I would like to advise against with anyone who would be watching this. Just any like female, male, anyone watching this, just don't let anyone coerce you into being a part of a production and making that the most important thing, because at the end of the day, you're the one who gets to choose what you do. Like, don't let anyone, any like director or photographer or anything, because there's a lot of people around here that will take advantage of you and stuff. And you definitely want to do your research, and you want to always make sure you be safe when you go out in these places and stuff. And the relationships I've had with these people, it's not bad. It's just the director is not someone that I would urge to work with is all. And so I would just anyone who would have these red flags about them that you would notice and stuff. And if you're in this industry, just be sure to just stay clear of that, because it's just it gets you in a sticky place, and it's just something that you want to do for fun,
Yeah, of course. Now, would you like to tell some stories from the set of that particular show, or other shows if you want?
Yeah, man, there was a time when I had to do this thing where I had to slide this knife out. It's one of those pocket knives that has a little button and you push it with your thumb. And I had to do that with one hand for like, I think maybe like over 20 takes. And this is like a 5-second scene that didn't even make it in the movie.
Oh my. What? that sucks.
Yeah. And I had to go, the whole thing was I had to get this knife out with my thumb and then bring it over my face and do kind of like a slow motion, kind of villainy kind of look with it. And the issue with that is the button. It was the button. I couldn't get the button. And it was so hard. And I had these acrylic nails that I also had to wear for my character and stuff. And so Sam was, he was like 4 beers in, so he doesn't care. And so and so I'm just, having to try to do that. And I woke up with like a new callus on my thumb. And I swear, if I hit that same spot nowadays, it's hard now. So I got kind of like a permanent souvenir from that. And another fun time from the set was we were outside in Huntington at like maybe 12 o'clock at night in this alleyway.
Which is not a place you want to be.
That's exactly. This is the list of things to not do. And we had to use one of these little fog machines or smoke machines, whatever you call them. And we didn't know how powerful that thing was until Sam had powered it up. And that thing went in the streets, and it was so like the fog was so thick. And it was, I don't know how we didn't get in trouble for it, honestly, but it was so like thick smelling too, if that made any sense at all. It's like, the fake aromas that they spray at amusement parks to make you hungry. It's kind of what this fog was. It's kind of what this fog was. And so that was eventful. And then there's obviously the time the director had like 3 dogs in the house. So we had to shoot with all of them in the house as well. And so there'd be times where we'd have to like take the dogs aside and like, or we'd be in the middle of the scene and one of them be like, oh, woo, or something like that. And I mean, other than that, just it's so fun making inside jokes with these people that you become great friends with, and seeing the production like all put together and everything is also another experience in of itself. And it was really nice. They had a little preview showing at the Paramount a few weeks ago, and they had a little red carpet event and stuff. And so that was nice. The director's film that he had filmed in Thailand had gotten shown there as well, because he had recently filmed something in Thailand about the cave incident that happened with the soccer team getting stuck in there.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
That's really interesting, actually.
Yeah.
That wasn't too long ago, was it? When the soccer team got stuck?
It wasn't long ago at all. Yeah.
It was like just a couple years ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember seeing it on the news and everything. But yeah, and sorry.
No, feel free.
And
I edit out all this stuff anyway.
Working with Kiamo, you're fine. And working with Kiamo is one of the most fun experiences as well. He's just one of the most pure, fun people to work with, and you feel so safe with this guy. And so we have so many stories, like the time when like we tried to do like this shoot on the beach or on a beach type place where there's this bank and there's like 5 Southern fishermen over here, and I'm over here like in this like crop top like Indian garment with like red like all over me and stuff, and it's just it's fun seeing people's reactions and stuff. And then we have some videos that we take as well while we're shooting, and there's a lot of funny videos of me posing, and then you hear someone in the background walking past and then saying something like really creepy to like catcall me, and then me making like a roast face at them. So there's a lot of those clips. And that's funny.
And I
So
do have,
Cassandra, I haven't asked any questions yet. I only have one question, and that is Jim Maggard your favorite person to ever work for ever?
Let me tell y'all about Jim Maggard. I love that man so much. Oh my gosh. He's my mentor. Like in high school, he's the most amazing down to earth teacher that you would ever know. And now he's just, I need to go back to Ashland and hang out with him again. But I haven't heard from him at all, but my mom and him keep in touch. Yeah.
Really one of the most genuinely nice people I've ever met too.
Yeah, he's amazing.
So I meant to ask this earlier, but I forgot for some reason, but it's okay. I'm going to ask now. So I was curious about on this set in particular, was there, like, when it comes to the script, did you do any improvisation or anything, or like how loose was it on set?
Oh, it was really loose. Like there'd be times I'm that type of person where I'll memorize a whole monologue. And then as soon as I go to like say it in front of the person, and as soon as I look them in the eyes, it's just poof, like out of my head. And so a lot of them were improvisations. I always get around to what I mean to say though. So that's all that really matters. but yeah, no, there's a lot of improvisations that obviously the audience wouldn't know, but we know.
Right. Yeah.
Just small things, just kind of like there would be times where I'm supposed to be on this couch, but I had moved over and I moved over a different way or something like that. Just little quirky, funny things.
Well, that's cool because I've heard, obviously when it comes to like me, Tyler, and Ray and stuff, I think acting is something in a movie that I'm like I really latch onto. Like if a performance is really strong, that's kind of the thing that I like gravitate to. Where Tyler is more like he knows all the technical aspects of filmmaking and stuff.
Oh, I feel that.
Yeah, and I just hear a lot. And I've wanted to get into acting a little bit myself, but that's all I'm going to say about that because I haven't done it yet or anything. But it's always been kind of a fun thing I wanted to try out. But yeah, so. But that's cool that it was like kind of a fun environment on set because, you hear a lot of behind the scenes stuff with movies where it's always like one of two ways. It's always like they're either really, strict on they want you to stick exactly to the script, no improv. And then there's other sets where a lot of like comedy movies, like Judd Apatow movies and stuff like that, where like almost everything is improvised. So it's cool to hear that the sets you work on are fun. And I think that's probably really encouraging to like people around here, especially women around here who want to get into acting and stuff. So sounds like a lot of fun, honestly.
Yeah, loose set is the best. And I totally understand what you mean. Like with certain types of a scene can be beautiful, but then I feel like certain types of acting can just take the immersion factor out.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So I have two questions for you. One of which I almost guarantee I know the answer to, but you may not. So I'll ask that one first. You mentioned that you were filming in an alleyway at night with like a smoke machine and all that kind of stuff. Do you know if the film crew had a permit to do that?
Yeah, see, that's what I mean by I'm surprised that we didn't get in trouble. I'm pretty sure they had one because it was pretty late at night. And yeah, it was like a big kind of, I don't think you could have gone to like the store and bought it. It was like a kind of like a serious, like productive, like smoke machine thing. Mm-hmm. But it was so big.
Yeah. Because there's a very famous story about the production of The Terminator, where James Cameron, who had mainly done like B movies and stuff before, and who I think was like in his early 30s at this point, he had his crew together and they were filming in an alleyway with Arnold Schwarzenegger, dressed up as the Terminator with this big gun in his hands, and a cop pulled up and he went up to Cameron and he inquired about like his filming permit and he asked to see it. And James Cameron, early 30s with Arnold Schwarzenegger there big buff Austrian man had to like sweet talk the cop into thinking that they were a college student production in order to not get in trouble for the filming of that movie. So I was curious.
Okay, but really, who's going to tell Arnold
went through
Schwarzenegger now?
No one. Not a single person. And my
I wouldn't.
No. And my second question was, like Luke said, I'm more of a technical person. I have directed a few projects for school and stuff. And I know that occasionally you will have to take multiple takes of something. As a director, I hate doing that because when I edit it later, that just sorts more stuff I have to sort through and make decisions on. So I'm curious, with this film or other films that you've done, how many takes would you say is average for you to do? And as an actress, do you ever get annoyed by just the sheer number of takes you have to do?
Honestly, for me, I'd say the amount of takes I would have to do per scene usually would be about like 5, maybe, just because it usually takes me like a little bit. Like when I first start saying my lines and stuff, I kind of stutter and stuff, and I have to like say line and stuff and kind of get it back to me to where I feel comfortable and stuff. And then I end up like loosening up a bit and we start joking around a little bit, and it kind of like makes me feel a whole lot better. And then I end up feeling actually kind of like a little bit cocky about it. And then I'm like, wait, hold on, let's do that again because I want to move this way actually. And like I'll find myself saying stuff like that. But usually I never really get annoyed by it unless I have to like show some type of like emotion. Like if I have to, unless it's like the knife thing also. And like if I have to like cry or scream or something like that, usually I don't like doing scenes like that over and over again because I feel like it starts to slowly deteriorate. But yeah, usually about 5.
So I think that's about average in general. What's the most number of takes you ever had to do?
Man, it was definitely that knife scene. That was like about 20 takes.
That they never even used. Used.
Yeah, never used it.
Why didn't they use that? Why didn't they use that footage?
I didn't use the knife well enough, I guess.
They needed to have like a blooper reel during the credits or something and have that. Yeah. Like, that'd be pretty funny. So I wanted to ask you, obviously everybody's inspired by somebody, and I've got a lot of inspirations when it comes to movies and stuff like that. And I was wondering, do you have like a favorite actress or maybe someone who's like inspired you and made you want to pursue acting?
Oh man, so many people. A few of the people that have inspired me to do acting and modeling and stuff like that. I've always loved Tom Hanks. I think he's amazing. I love his movies. I grew up watching a lot of his movies. Same with Robin Williams, and a lot of like modeling and stuff that I look up to, like are usually like Indian women and stuff like that. That like I also follow on Instagram and stuff like that, and we kind of like share ideas and stuff. Like. Sheena is one of them. She is snh.a on Instagram, and she's one of the people that I really look up to and follow. And of course, Jim Maggard. I mean, there's not a better person to look up to than him, honestly. He's just one of the GOATs.
Now, if you could, well, I always like to, I haven't the past several guests we've had, and I don't know why, but I'm really curious what your favorite movie is, or do you have a favorite? Because a lot of people, it's hard to pick. You know what I mean? So do you have a favorite movie?
Like, are we talking about like favorite, like visual movie, or like just favorite, like
favorite
just
all
like,
time?
All time. Yeah. All time favorite.
Oof. Man.
I know that's kind of a hard question to just like drop on somebody out of the blue.
No, you're fine. I have 2 right now that I'm kind of going in between. One is Life of Pi, and then the other is The Fall, 2006. with Lee Pace, and it's a really visually beautiful movie. They shot in like I think like so many different locations. Oh, Secret Life of Walter Mitty is also one of my favorite movies.
Oh, Tyler,
That's
you
one
got to
of
talk
mine as
about
well.
that, dude.
That's one of mine as well. You're talking about the Ben Stiller one.
Beautiful movie.
You're talking about the new one, right? The 2013 one?
Oh, yeah, with Ben Stiller.
Yeah, that one's my favorite. That was the very first time I had ever heard the song Space Oddity by David Bowie, and it was used so perfectly in that movie. Yes,
I loved it. I mean, the little texts that would show up, the colors in that movie, the audio, the music, it's so beautiful. I can't
Yeah, that movie definitely is like a feel-good movie about like the meaning of life and what's important and what's not and all that.
Yeah, it really shows a lot of his Buddhist perspective as well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, you mentioned that movie that you mentioned Lee Pace being in. I haven't heard of that movie, but I think he's like such a fantastic actor, and not a lot of people that aren't like really into movies know it. Like, he's not a household name, but he's awesome in everything he's in. Yeah.
Yeah. Pushing Daisies and.
Yeah. Pushing Daisies is good. I think the most famous thing he's been in was when he played Ronan in Guardians of the Galaxy. But
and Lord of the Rings, I think, is his most famous.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
The Hobbit,
right.
I mean.
Right, yeah. But he's a good actor, so it's cool to see you mention somebody like that.
Anybody have any other questions?
I guess because as much as we've talked about the latest project you've been in, I'm pretty interested in seeing it now. First off, because I've talked to somebody who's in the production, which is really cool. But also, it just sounds like a fun set to work on. It sounds pretty like it kind of sounds like something out of like you said, like the 70s or like stuff like that. And I really like that era of film a whole lot. Like kind of exploitation a little bit, but not like too insane or anything.
Yeah,
but,
and it's really fun to see that era of film portrayed in the city that you live in.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think about that part, but yeah, that's pretty interesting too. But I guess I was going to ask, do you is there any way for like someone who wants to see this movie to see it? Because I definitely want to, and I was having a little bit of trouble finding where to see it. So I was just wondering if there was any way that like me or like some of our listeners who wanted to watch it could maybe see it.
Yeah. Well, I think I have a CD of the ones that I told you about that I was in previously with a few of these people.
Oh,
but
right, yeah.
The newest one, Before Daybreak, I'm not really sure because I went to the premiere thinking that they'd actually still have CDs there for us to have, but they didn't. So it should be coming out soon on CD. And when it does, I'm sure that you'd have to probably go in and order it. And so I'll check in on that for you, definitely, and give you like a link and stuff.
Sweet. Yeah. Because I mean, the way you described it, I was already intrigued, but
it's interesting. Definitely. Yeah. We used a lot of there's also a lot of the use of like red and blue lights. Like those are the two lights that we use the whole time, basically. And it's really pretty to see them work out.
That sounds really cool. It sounds like a little bit experimental. That sounds awesome. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I've got. Unless Tyler and Ray has anything. I, again, really appreciate you coming on here.
Yeah, it was so fun being on here.
All right. Ray, do you have anything else to ask before we end?
I don't believe so, Tyler.
All right. Well, in that case, thank you for coming on. And before we do go to our, final outro, we are going to have a break for our sponsor. All right. Well, thank you all for listening to this episode. If you liked it, you can follow us on all of our social media at Cinebros P on Twitter, Cinebros Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. Cassandra, where can they find you if they want to follow you? Do you have anything?
My Instagram is at namaste._ and on everything else, it's basically just Cassie Hunt.
All right, cool. And with that, we will see you guys later. Bye.